You think your morning routine is brutal. Old Hollywood actresses slept tied to bedposts like glamorous hostages, chugged household ammonia at breakfast, painted cleavage shadows with brown paint, got teeth filed flat without numbing, and stuffed cotton balls inside cheeks until romantic dialogue sounded like chipmunks arguing over rent. 81 rules wait below, each one dumber than the last somehow. Smash that subscribe button before your jaw permanently detaches, because skipping now means missing the part where executives literally hid rocks inside high heels just to make women wiggle correctly. 1. Picture this absolutely unhinged glamour myth floating around old Hollywood. Marlene Dietrich supposedly yanked out her back molars just to carve permanent sunken cheekbones for the camera. Story sounds wildly Hollywood, but historians keep busting it wide open. Marlene relied on brutal lighting, contouring, and ruthless dieting, not roadside dentistry. Yet studios happily fueled the rumor because suffering equaled stardom. America ate it up, imagining starlets handing dentists a script and a smile. Cheekbones over chewing food, apparently. 2. Now buckle up for the saga of Rita Hayworth and her infamous hairline. Whispers claim studios zapped her forehead with hot needles for a full year, electrocuting every stray hair just to push her look further from her Spanish roots. Brutal, yes, but the dramatic version was puffed up by studio makers. Rita endured painful electrolysis sessions, though nowhere near the cartoonish torture chamber gossip implied. Still, Hollywood loved the legend because pain sold tickets, and audiences pictured executives chasing her with a soldering iron. 3. Step into the unhinged world of pre-surgery facelifts, where actresses allegedly had their facial skin yanked back and clamped down with tiny metal alligator clips hidden under towering wigs. The legend sounds like a medieval torture manual, but historians confirm a watered-down version actually happened on certain sets. Studios called it grooming. Wig masters called it Tuesday. America imagined glamorous stars walking around with crocodile tooth clips digging into their scalps, smiling through lunch while their entire face quietly rearranged itself underneath 30 pounds of horsehair. 4. Then comes the wildly cinematic rumor that studios forced actors under the knife to carve permanent chin dimples directly into their jawbones. Picture an executive pointing at Cary Grant and demanding more masculine geometry. Historians roast this one hard because the surgery existed only in fan magazine fantasy. Studios preferred shadowing tricks, contour paint, and clever lighting angles. Yet audiences happily believed Hollywood ran a secret dimple workshop, slicing handsome clefts into jawlines like a butcher prepping prime cuts for the box office. 5. Joan Crawford and her nostrils deserve their own legend. The myth claims she forced makeup artists to jam rigid colored dental wax inside her nose to reshape her flair on camera. The roast-worthy truth shows Joan obsessed over every angle, but actual dental wax up the nostrils was studio gossip on steroids. America loved imagining her demanding nose architecture between takes, barking orders, while a terrified makeup boy held tweezers. The real Joan ruled through sheer panic, not nostril spack. 6. Now picture the throat taping ritual, where loose neck skin was supposedly pulled tight and glued to the back of the neck with industrial adhesive, hidden by tall collars. The visual alone is pure horror cinema. Historians confirm tape tricks existed, but the dramatic glue version is mostly studio folklore stretched to ridiculous proportions. America pictured grandma-age starlets unsticking themselves at midnight while their entire jawline slid back into place. Hollywood preferred suffering myths because saggy necks apparently threatened national security. 7. The ear-pinning legend insists studios forced full surgical autoplasties on any actor whose ears stuck out under widescreen lighting. The story imagines executives measuring ear angles with protractors before issuing pink slips. Historians push back, noting cosmetic surgery existed but rarely on studio command. Hairstylists usually solved the problem with clever combing. America loved picturing producers chasing actors with scalpels yelling about silhouettes because nothing screamed Hollywood like turning an ear shape into a billion-dollar emergency. 8. Behold the nose bridge wax strips allegedly pasted down actors' faces to camouflage every bump before rhinoplasty became standard. The myth pictures stars sweating under hot lamps while flesh-colored wax slowly slides off their noses mid-scene. Truth check, the wax trick existed, but never as dramatically as legend suggests. Makeup artists used putty sparingly, not slathered like cake frosting. America pictured noses melting under set lights, leaving directors screaming for a mop, while leading ladies tried to look mysterious through a waterfall. 9. The upper lip snipping rumor sounds like a deleted scene from a horror flick. Starlets with gummy smiles allegedly underwent secret oral surgery, severing inner tissue to drop their lip lower over their teeth. Historians confirm dental cosmetic work happened, but the casual snip and drop version is dramatically inflated. America loved imagining surgeons hunched over actresses in dark rooms, whispering about gum coverage. The reality involved more lipstick tricks and clever smiling than back alley lip alterations performed between musical numbers. 10. The petroleum jelly eyeball trick might be the grossest beauty myth ever sold. Studios supposedly dropped raw blobs of greasy Vaseline directly onto naked eyeballs to make stars sparkle under blinding lights. Historians confirm makeup artists smeared jelly on lids and lashes, not the actual eye itself. Yet legend insists otherwise. America happily pictured leading ladies blinking through gooey rainbows, weeping mascara rivers while pretending to seduce co-stars. Hollywood, where vision impairment apparently counted as a serious career investment. 11. Picture starlets dunking their faces into buckets of pure ice water every single morning, holding their breath until lightheadedness set in, all to shrink their pores into invisibility. Historians confirm the ice plunge existed, though the near-drowning drama got hugely exaggerated by fan magazines hunting clicks. Pores, by the way, do not actually open and close like tiny garage doors. America loved picturing glamorous women gasping over kitchen sinks at dawn, sacrificing oxygen for a porcelain glow nobody could even see clearly. 12. Behold Thoradia, the literal radioactive face cream sold during early Hollywood, packed with real thorium and radium to give skin an illuminated glow. The terrifying twist is this product genuinely existed and starlets actually used it. Historians confirm the radioactive beauty craze swept through dressing rooms before anyone connected the dots between glowing cheeks and glowing tumors. America imagined leading ladies sparkling under moonlight, never realizing their nightstand jars could power a small reactor. Beauty really did mean dying gorgeous. 13. Then comes the borax bath legend, where performers allegedly soaked in tubs of laundry bleaching agents to chemically whiten their skin into porcelain dolls. The myth makes studio bathrooms sound like haunted laundromats. Historians confirm borax appeared in beauty routines, but the full-body bleach-soaked version is dramatically inflated gossip. America pictured starlets emerging from foamy chemical pools with skin so pale they glowed through walls. Hollywood somehow convinced women that smelling like fresh laundry equaled box office royalty and timeless elegance. 14. The lead-laced foundation horror story is unfortunately real, kind of. Studios used pancake makeup formulas containing toxic white lead for that flawless black and white camouflage. Skin slowly degraded under the weight of metallic poison, leaving careers shorter than expected. Historians confirm lead poisoning impacted countless actresses, though studios marketed the goop as miracle paint. America imagined goddesses on screen, never realizing their idols were essentially marinating in heavy metal smoothies. Glamour really did come with a complementary side of neurological damage. 15. Freckles apparently threaten the entire entertainment industry. Actresses caught with natural sunspots were pushed toward mercury ammoniate ointments designed to chemically scorch every speckle off their cheeks. Picture a leading lady applying poison cream before bedtime, dreaming of flawless close-ups. The whole concept feels deranged in retrospect. Hollywood basically declared war on adorable cheek dots, treating them like criminal evidence. Mercury ate skin, ruined kidneys, and occasionally took careers down with it. Freckles somehow lost the public relations battle. 16. Now picture actresses smearing thick, sticky castor oil across their eyelids for that wet, shiny look, severely blurring their vision on set. The myth sounds painfully dramatic, but the trick was genuinely real, just less catastrophic. Historians confirm makeup artists used oil sparingly for glossy effects. America imagined leading ladies stumbling around sound stages, bumping into cameras while reciting Shakespeare through oil-fogged eyeballs. Hollywood somehow decided functional eyesight ranked far below temporary forehead shimmer in the official Glamour Priority Handbook. 17. The sandpaper skin peel might sound like garage workshop nonsense, but studio dermatologists genuinely used spinning motorized wheels wrapped in industrial sandpaper to grind away skin layers, treating minor acne scars. Historians confirm the procedure, though the cartoonish image of buzzing workshop tools on faces gets blown out of proportion. America pictured doctors in goggles approaching starlets like furniture refinishers. The reality involved primitive dermabrasion, which still sounds horrifying. Hollywood basically treated faces like rough hardwood floors needing aggressive sanding. 18. Manicured Hollywood hands hid a disgusting little secret beneath their glossy shine. Early polishes achieved that diamond-hard finish using concentrated formaldehyde, the exact chemical funeral homes used on guests of honor. Nail beds rotted while photographers snapped publicity shots. Picture starlets waving elegantly at premieres, fingertips slowly turning into biological emergencies. The roast practically writes itself. Embalming fluid moonlighting as red carpet glamour feels deeply on brand for old Hollywood, where every gorgeous detail came packaged with a quiet cellular meltdown.
19.
Max Factor's beauty calibrator might be the most cursed contraption ever placed on a human face. The cage-like metal helmet used 180 adjustable screws to measure facial asymmetry down to the millimeter. Historians confirm this terrifying device genuinely existed and actresses actually wore it. America pictured Max Factor cackling like a mad scientist tightening screws, while starlets calculated escape routes. The contraption looked like medieval punishment gear. Beauty calibration somehow involved more hardware than a small bridge construction project. 20. Marilyn Monroe's pout supposedly required exactly 5 distinct shades of red lipstick applied in precise gradient zones topped with synthetic wax just to fake depth. The legend sounds excessive even for Hollywood. Historians confirm makeup artists genuinely layered multiple tones, though the strict 5-zone production line gets dramatically inflated. America pictured Marilyn sitting through hour-long lip ceremonies while assistants consulted color charts. Her famous pout apparently demanded more engineering than most automobile assembly lines operating across post-war Detroit factories combined. 21. The white eyeliner illusion sounds like a magic trick gone unhinged. Makeup artists drew thick, chalky lines inside the lower waterline, then glued false lashes well below the natural lash line, creating cartoon-sized doll eyes. Picture starlets blinking through layers of paste while pretending their faces felt normal. The roast hits hard because the trick made eyes look enormous yet slightly possessed. America watched glamorous close-ups, never realizing their favorite actresses essentially wore optical illusions designed by frustrated stage magicians moonlighting as cosmetics consultants between vaudeville bookings. 22. Early false eyelashes came with a horror story attached. Real human hair got hand-sewn onto fine threads, then glued to delicate eyelids using burning spirit gum that stung worse than betrayal. The whole process sounds medieval, yet starlets sat through it daily without flinching. Picture leading ladies marinating in eye chemicals while assistants threaded human hair like tiny carpets. Hollywood somehow decided wearing someone else's mystery hair on your face counted as normal employment. Glamour really did require borrowing strangers' follicles for survival. 23. Gold dust hair glaze sounds invented for a fairy tale, yet studios genuinely sprinkled microscopic real gold tinsel onto blonde actresses to make hair blindingly reflective on monochrome film. Picture set assistants tossing literal precious metal flakes onto heads like seasoning expensive pasta. The roast nearly writes itself. Hollywood treated hair like jewelry display cases, dumping enough gold to mortgage small houses just for one close-up. America watched blonde shimmer on screen, never realizing their idols essentially walked around wearing portable mining operations. 24. The blue shading hack flipped logic completely upside down. Pure white makeup photographed like ghostly nightmares on primitive film, so actors wore pale blue or green-tinted powders just to look normal. Picture leading ladies leaving makeup chairs looking faintly hypothermic, then magically appearing flawless on screen. The whole concept feels backwards. Hollywood basically painted humans the colors of mild illness to fake good health. America watched perfectly healthy stars who off-camera resembled extras from underwater horror productions about haunted aquariums and cursed swimming pools. 25. Wax lipsticks bled like leaky pens under hot studio lights, forcing actresses to draw hard borders around their mouths using stark white chalk pencils. The defensive perimeter looked absurd up close, yet vanished on camera. Picture leading ladies marching to set with chalk outlines around their lips like little crime scenes. The roast is too easy. Hollywood essentially deployed border patrol around mouths to prevent lipstick refugees from escaping onto chins. America never saw the chalk fortress, only the perfectly contained crimson masterpiece above. 26. Hays Code censorship banned cleavage outright, so wardrobe artists painted deep brown shadows directly between actresses' chests to fake depth without technically breaking rules. The loophole sounds ridiculous yet worked brilliantly. Picture studio painters carefully shading flesh like Renaissance masters, fooling censors with strategic brushwork. The roast lands because morality enforcers got outsmarted by basic art class techniques. America watched curvaceous bombshells on screen, completely unaware the spectacle came from contour paint, not anatomy. Hollywood basically airbrushed bodies the old-fashioned way, using sponges and shadows. 27. Astringent chemical drops constricted every blood vessel in actors' eyes, making the whites look artificially gleaming under studio lighting. Picture leading ladies tilting back heads while makeup artists administered burning droplets like reluctant pharmacists. The whole ritual screamed bad idea. Hollywood somehow decided slightly pink eyes ranked as a career emergency requiring chemical intervention. America watched bright-eyed stars deliver romantic monologues, never realizing their idols essentially blinked through industrial-grade irritation. Sparkling sclera came at the small cost of feeling like onions exploded directly inside skulls. 28. Gasoline hair washes deserve their own safety warning label. Actresses stripped studio pomades by dousing scalps in raw gasoline or kerosene, then casually walking near blazing hot studio lamps afterward. Picture leading ladies as walking fire hazards waiting for an unfortunate spark. The roast practically explodes. Hollywood treated heads like dirty engine parts, requiring industrial degreasing. America watched glossy hair tumble across screens completely unaware their idols essentially marinated skulls in fuel station chemistry. One wayward cigarette would have turned glamour shots into actual emergency footage. 29. Jean Harlow's iconic platinum hair came from mixing commercial bleach, ammonia, and literal Clorox toilet cleaner directly onto her scalp. The chemical cocktail eventually destroyed her hair entirely, leaving nothing but tragic legend. Picture stylist pouring bathroom cleaning supplies onto a movie star's head between takes. The roast hits hardest because it actually happened. Hollywood watched its biggest blonde slowly poison herself for the aesthetic. America idolized that platinum glow, never realizing the formula belonged under kitchen sinks beside rat traps and silverfish powder. 30. Cotton sheets became forbidden territory for actresses who had to wrap hair in pure silk and sleep completely upright just to preserve studio hairstyles overnight. Picture leading ladies sitting bolt upright through entire nights, like haunted dolls, guarding their pin curls. The roast writes itself in bedroom comedy. Hollywood essentially banned horizontal sleeping for women, prioritizing hairdo preservation over actual rest. America watched bouncy curls on screen, never realizing their idols genuinely slept like vertical mannequins, terrified of accidentally smushing 8 hours of stylist labor flat. 31. Pin curls demanded sacrifice nobody warned actresses about. Stale flat beer became the secret weapon, drenched into hair before being rolled tight into metal clips, so curls survived baking studio lamps. Picture leading ladies marinating their skulls in week-old lager, hoping nobody downwind noticed the brewery aroma. The roast pours itself. Hollywood essentially turned heads into walking pub puddles for the sake of bouncy waves. America watched perfect curls on screen, never realizing their idols smelled faintly like the floor of a Saturday night dive bar. 32. Early permanent waves involved hooking hair onto massive overhead machines featuring dozens of sizzling hot metal rods that frequently shocked or burned the scalp. Picture leading ladies sitting beneath dangling electric octopi while stylists prayed nothing exploded. The contraption looked engineered by mad scientists between coffee breaks. Hollywood somehow decided dangling actresses under sparking metal counted as routine grooming. America watched glossy waves cascade across screens, completely unaware their favorite stars endured what essentially resembled medieval execution devices wearing a slightly friendlier hairdresser apron disguise. 33. Cheap industrial bar soaps left chalky films across actresses' hair, so studios mandated dousing every head in pure white vinegar after each wash. Picture leading ladies stepping out of showers smelling like aggressive salad dressing, hoping nobody scheduled close-up romance scenes that afternoon. The roast practically pickles itself. Hollywood essentially turned glamorous starlets into walking condiment dispensers. America watched silky hair shimmer on screen, completely unaware their idols carried the unmistakable bouquet of fish and chip shops mixed with grandma's spring cleaning routine. Flat irons did not exist yet, so actresses with natural curls had hair laid flat across wooden ironing boards, while assistants pressed down using heavy clothing irons. Picture leading ladies lying sideways on laundry equipment while sweaty helpers attacked their scalps with appliances meant for dress shirts. The roast irons itself flat. Hollywood treated heads like wrinkled linens needing emergency steam treatment. America watched sleek hair on screen, completely unaware their favorite stars essentially got ironed alongside the bedsheets every single Sunday afternoon before Monday shoots. 35. Imported eyebrow pencils sometimes ran out mid-shoot, forcing makeup artists to scrape black soot directly off burnt matchsticks and smear it onto starlets' faces. Picture frantic assistants striking matches between takes, harvesting carbon like desperate cavemen rediscovering fire and cosmetics simultaneously. The roast practically combusts. Hollywood treated emergency grooming like prehistoric craft projects involving scorched wood and questionable hygiene. America watched perfectly arched brows on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially wore the ashy remains of broken matchsticks above their eyes like tribal warriors. 36. Lace front hairpieces required absolute commitment from actresses willing to fuse fake hair directly into forehead skin using industrial shellac. Removal tore off entire layers of facial real estate like reluctant wallpaper. Picture leading ladies prying off wigs at midnight, watching skin peel away alongside the lace. The roast practically rips itself off. Hollywood essentially demanded forehead serve as permanent glue traps. America watched flowing locks on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially treated their own faces as disposable adhesive backing for very expensive scalp accessories. 37. Judy Garland's studio-mandated diet consisted exclusively of black coffee, clear chicken broth, and 4 packs of cigarettes daily. Picture executives handing a teenager nicotine and bouillon while calling it nutrition. The roast burns straight through Hollywood's reputation. MGM essentially weaponized caffeine and tobacco against a child star, then acted shocked when her health collapsed decades later. America loved Dorothy bouncing through Oz, never realizing the studio fueled that performance using essentially a diner ashtray and lukewarm soup served by accountants disguised as caring guardians. 38. Black market diet pills allegedly contained real live tapeworm segments, marketed to starlets desperate for microscopic waistlines without lifting a single dumbbell. Picture leading ladies swallowing parasites between scenes, hoping internal freeloaders did the dieting for them. The roast wriggles through every angle. Hollywood somehow normalized hiring intestinal squatters as personal trainers. America imagined glamorous bombshells on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially leased out digestive systems to mystery worms, paying rent in calories. Tapeworms basically became the original uninvited Hollywood roommates, eating everyone's lunch literally. 39. Metal bone corsets laced actresses so tightly that internal organs shifted positions, causing fainting spells mid-scene from sheer oxygen deprivation. Picture leading ladies collapsing dramatically, not from emotion but from compressed lungs giving up. The roast tightens around Hollywood's logic. Studios essentially demanded breathing, become optional during shoots. America watched glamorous waist on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed entire monologues, while their kidneys quietly relocated next door to their ribs, filing complaints with whatever organ governance committee handled internal residential disputes. 40. Studios regularly forced healthy, normal-weight actors to swallow heavy prescription thyroid medication, hijacking metabolisms into unnatural overdrive. Picture executives prescribing endocrine chaos like vitamins, watching stars vibrate through scenes powered entirely by hormonal sabotage. The roast practically jitters off the page. Hollywood essentially weaponized thyroid glands against their own employees. America watched lean leading ladies on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially ran on chemical engines, forcefully upgraded by studio doctors, treating human bodies like racing cars, demanding illegal modifications before every Sunday morning premiere. 41. Studio doctors prescribed weight loss through cigarettes alone, claiming nicotine torched fat faster than exercise ever could. Picture leading ladies essentially chain smoking through breakfast, lunch, and dinner, replacing entire food groups with tobacco rituals dressed up as medical advice. The roast practically lights itself. Hollywood essentially treated lung damage like an acceptable trade-off for slim hips. America watched glamorous bombshells on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially survived entire decades powered by ashtrays, treating their own respiratory systems like disposable equipment swappable between productions whenever doctors prescribed fresh cartons of cigarettes. 42. Executives regularly ordered starlets onto tomato and hard-boiled egg diets, or lamb chop and grapefruit combinations, sustained for months until malnutrition kicked in. Picture leading ladies staring at identical plates morning, noon, and night, slowly losing faith in food itself. The roast practically curdles. Hollywood essentially turned dining rooms into prison cafeterias, serving sad-themed menus. America watched glamorous figures on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially survived on grocery list dares invented by sadistic accountants who confused human nutrition with discount supermarket clearance shelf inventory experiments. 43. Rubber sweatsuits trapped actors inside non-breathable plastic shells while studios shoved them into baking boiler rooms to drop water weight before revealing scenes. Picture leading ladies basting inside personal saunas like Thanksgiving turkeys, praying for filming delays. The roast practically steams. Hollywood essentially marinated humans in their own juices for cinematic vanity. America watched lean stars on screen, completely unaware their idols, essentially performed slow-cooking demonstrations backstage, emerging dehydrated and crinkled like raisins forgotten inside lunchboxes during particularly aggressive summer school camping trips. 44. Weight clauses written into contracts allowed studios to financially suspend any actress gaining even 2 pounds over her mandated number. Picture leading ladies sweating onto bathroom scales every morning, paychecks hanging on the cruel verdict of springs and dials. The roast weighs heavy. Hollywood essentially turned bathroom appliances into employment courts. America watched glamorous figures on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially negotiated their entire livelihoods against breakfast pastries, treating every slice of toast like a potentially career-ending decision worth long therapy sessions afterward. 45. Strong chemical laxatives got handed out the night before form-fitting gown shoots, guaranteeing impossibly flat stomachs through forced internal evacuation. Picture leading ladies hugging porcelain thrones at midnight, sacrificing dignity for tomorrow's silhouette. The roast practically flushes itself. Hollywood essentially treated bowels like uncooperative props requiring chemical persuasion. America watched smooth gowns on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially endured plumbing emergencies the previous evening, scheduling personal disasters around shoot calls Like the world's least glamorous wellness retreat anyone could imagine attending voluntarily. 46. Sitting wrinkled expensive dresses, so actresses leaned flat against vertical wooden boards between takes instead of using chairs like normal humans. Picture leading ladies propped against planks like decorative ironing boards, gossiping while completely upright for hours. The roast tilts sideways. Hollywood essentially demoted women to furniture-adjacent status, protecting fabric over comfort. America watched relaxed actresses on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially spent breaks impersonating wall art, never bending hips, never resting legs, prioritizing silk preservation above the basic human right to occasionally sit down somewhere. 47. Thick, chalky liquid body paint coated arms, legs, and backs daily, clogging every pore beneath the airbrushed illusion of perfection. Picture leading ladies essentially shrink-wrapping themselves in cosmetic plaster every morning, skin gasping for oxygen underneath, the roast cakes itself. Hollywood essentially mummified actresses in beauty paste, treating pores like inconvenient design flaws. America watched glowing limbs on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially walked around encased in liquid drywall, breathing through whatever skin survived the daily coating ritual. Nobody dared question publicly aloud. 48. Directors slipped small marbles or pebbles inside actresses' high heels, forcing exaggerated hip swaying wiggles every step. Picture leading ladies limping seductively across sound stages, secretly cursing every executive who invented this scheme. The roast rolls along nicely. Hollywood essentially weaponized footwear against women, manufacturing sex appeal through podiatric sabotage. America watched mesmerizing walks on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially hobbled through scenes, nursing tiny stones lodged against arches, transforming what should have been simple walking into elaborate performance art powered entirely by foot torture. 49. Massive rock-hard shoulder pads got built into outfits, making waists appear tiny by comparison while forcing actresses to walk sideways through doorways. Picture leading ladies shuffling like crabs between rooms, navigating Hollywood architecture, armored like miniature linebackers. The roast practically blocks the doorway. Studios essentially turned actresses into structural engineering experiments. America watched dainty waists on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially wore portable bridges atop their shoulders, requiring entire production assistants devoted to spatial calculations whenever leading ladies needed to enter average-sized rooms. 50. Heavy metal lead weights got sewn directly into gown hems, ensuring skirts draped flawlessly and never blew up unpredictably during outdoor shoots. Picture leading ladies dragging 15 pounds of secret hardware around ankles, smiling through what felt like wearing chained handcuffs around feet. The roast sinks like an anchor. Hollywood essentially dresses into portable gym equipment. America watched flowing gowns on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed romantic dances, while smuggling enough lead to manufacture small bullets inside fabric meant primarily for elegant garden parties. 51. Wide elastic bands wrapped around lower rib cages, physically compressing skeletons just so actresses could fit into impossible sample dresses sized for imaginary humans. Picture leading ladies essentially shrink-wrapping their bones every morning, ribs creaking under pressure designed by sadistic tailors. The roast practically squeezes itself. Hollywood essentially treated skeletons like inconvenient packaging, requiring aggressive downsizing. America watched tiny waists on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed romantic monologues while bone structures quietly protested in muffled snaps, filing internal complaints with whatever cellular department handled rib management decisions. 52. Wardrobe departments sprayed actresses with water seconds before directors yelled action, making silk dresses cling tightly to every curve on screen. Picture leading ladies dripping wet in freezing studios, pretending breezy confidence while shivering uncontrollably between takes. The roast drenches itself. Hollywood essentially turned grown women into accidental wet t-shirt contest participants disguised as Shakespearean drama. America watched seductive scenes on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed entire emotional breakdowns while soaking wet, trying not to chatter teeth through romantic dialogue scripted by men who never personally experienced sudden hosing. 53. Flat shoes became completely forbidden in public, even at grocery stores, preventing paparazzi from catching actresses, revealing their actual shorter heights. Picture leading ladies buying milk and bread while teetering atop 3-inch heels, ankles begging for mercy near the cereal aisle. The roast totters dramatically. Hollywood essentially treated comfortable footwear like classified state secrets. America watched towering goddesses on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed daily errands like circus performers balancing on stilts, terrified of being photographed at potentially scandalous regular human 5'3" altitudes. 54. Foam and silicone padding stuffed inside long socks helped actors fake muscular calves whenever natural legs resembled disappointing chicken bones. Picture leading men strutting through period dramas, lower limbs essentially upholstered with secret cushioning hidden beneath tights. The roast practically pads itself. Hollywood essentially turned masculine legs into furniture restoration projects requiring careful stuffing. America watched heroic stances on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially wore upholstered calves, hoping nobody bumped into them suspiciously hard during fight choreography that could potentially expose embarrassing fluffy stuffing emergencies mid-scene. 55. Studio doctors handed out heavy sedatives like Nembutal to knock actresses unconscious for mandatory 10-hour sleeps, preventing stress-related under-eye bags. Picture leading ladies essentially getting drugged into oblivion every night, treating bedtime like minor surgery, requiring chemical anesthesia. The roast practically tranquilizes itself. Hollywood essentially treated insomnia like contagious career poison. America watched bright-eyed stars on screen completely unaware their idols essentially powered through romance scenes, while still half-loaded with pharmaceutical sleep aids that probably required forklifts to remove from bloodstreams every single morning. 56. Wooden blocks elevated bed heads by 6 inches, supposedly draining facial fluids away through pure gravitational beauty engineering. Picture leading ladies essentially sleeping on slanted ramps every night, hoping puffy cheeks slid downhill into pillows by morning. The roast tilts skeptically. Hollywood has essentially turned bedrooms into amateur physics experiments involving lumber and vanity. America watched fresh-faced stars on screen completely unaware their idols essentially slept like astronauts during launch sequences, fighting gravity instead of resting, treating their own faces as drainage systems requiring constant elevation engineering throughout every available sleeping hour. 57. Soft silk mittens or loose ropes bound actresses' hands and bedposts overnight, preventing accidental face scratching that could damage tomorrow's close-ups. Picture leading ladies essentially restrained nightly like glamorous hostages, hoping nobody asked questions about their unusual sleeping arrangements. The roast practically ties itself in knots. Hollywood essentially treated fingernails like dangerous weapons, requiring overnight confiscation. America watched flawless faces on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially spent every night gently shackled to mattresses, dreaming through what resembled extremely upscale Victorian asylum bedtime protocols designed by paranoid producers. 58. Studio sanatoriums essentially functioned as high-security weight-loss prisons, locking up actresses who gained 5 weekend pounds, feeding them broth while pumping in thyroid extracts. Picture leading ladies essentially incarcerated between films, sentenced for the crime of eating sandwiches like normal humans. The roast practically locks itself away. Hollywood essentially built private gulags disguised as wellness retreats. America watched slim stars on screen completely unaware their idols essentially endured medical imprisonment between productions, treated like livestock failing inspection, awaiting paperwork, releasing them back into society reasonably starved. 59. Lounging or lying on couches between takes became completely forbidden, protecting expensive silk fabrics from stretching out under casual relaxation. Picture leading ladies essentially banned from sitting comfortably anywhere, treating every break like vigilant fabric guard duty. The roast practically stiffens itself. Hollywood essentially valued cloth above human spinal health. America watched elegant actresses on screen completely unaware. Their idols essentially stood rigidly for hours between scenes, becoming honorary mannequins, protecting wardrobe investments worth approximately 1/10 of whatever therapy bills accumulated, treating chronic back problems caused by relentless professional standing. 60. Stars rubbed raw beef slices directly onto their faces before bed, convinced steak proteins absorbed through skin reversed aging overnight. Picture leading ladies essentially marinating cheeks and butcher shop leftovers, hoping yesterday's dinner ingredients secretly contained immortality formulas. The roast practically grills itself. Hollywood essentially treated raw meat like premium skincare cream. America watched ageless beauties on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially slept with deli counter selections plastered against foreheads, treating refrigerator contents like luxury spa products, while bedrooms quietly developed unmistakable aromas resembling forgotten Sunday afternoon barbecue accidents permanently. 61. Starlets got banned from speaking or changing facial expressions for an entire hour before shooting, preventing laugh lines from forming around mouths. Picture leading ladies essentially turning into statues backstage, glaring silently at assistants while practicing emotional neutrality. The roast practically freezes solid. Hollywood essentially treated smiling like vandalism against future close-ups. America watched expressive actresses on screen completely unaware their idols essentially performed pre-shoot meditation rituals requiring absolute facial paralysis, treating their own cheek muscles like dangerous criminals locked away under strict pre-performance house arrest protocols. 62. Tiny microdoses of arsenic pills genuinely circulated among early starlets desperate for that deathly pale ethereal complexion. Picture leading ladies essentially swallowing rat poison breakfasts, hoping toxic chemistry granted ghostly glamour instead of organ failure. The roast practically poisons itself. Hollywood essentially marketed slow suicide as skincare innovation. America watched ivory-skinned beauties on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially fueled that porcelain glow using substances rodent exterminators kept under lock and key, treating heavy metal toxicity like an acceptable price for looking slightly translucent under stage lights. 63. Heavy lead-lined fabric veils covered actresses' faces outdoors after aggressive chemical skin peels, blocking California's sunlight like portable nuclear shielding. Picture leading ladies wandering Beverly Hills, draped beneath miniature radiation curtains, terrifying neighborhood dogs, and confused mail carriers. The roast practically shrouds itself. Hollywood essentially turned grown women into wandering medieval ghosts. America watched glowing complexions on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially survived weekend errands disguised as funeral procession escapees, hauling enough lead fabric to potentially shield small bunkers during particularly inconvenient atomic emergencies. 64. Studio dentists ground actresses' front teeth completely flat using abrasive metal files, never bothering with numbing agents during the bone-deep grinding sessions. Picture leading ladies essentially enduring carpentry inside their mouths, gripping armrests while dentists casually filed enamel like reluctant blacksmiths. The roast practically grinds itself raw. Hollywood essentially treated teeth like uneven floorboards requiring aggressive sanding. America watched perfect smiles on screen completely unaware their idols essentially underwent dental woodworking projects between takes, sacrificing tooth structure plus probably significant chunks of personal sanity for evenly aligned grins. 65. Belladonna eye drops, literal deadly nightshade poison, got squeezed directly into actresses' eyes to make pupils look wide, dark, and romantic on screen. Picture leading ladies essentially blinding themselves temporarily for art, navigating sound stages through blurred toxic fog. The roast practically dilates itself. Hollywood essentially treated poisonous plants like beauty products. America watched mesmerizing close-ups on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed entire seduction scenes while half-poisoned, reciting tender dialogue toward whatever fuzzy shape directors hopefully resembled, trusting muscle memory over actual functional human eyesight that morning. 66. Directors banned blinking during dramatic close-ups, forcing actresses to stare wide-eyed into searing carbon arc lamps for nearly a full minute. Picture leading ladies essentially burning their retinas on command, praying directors would yell cut before eyeballs literally cooked. The roast practically scorches itself. Hollywood essentially weaponized stage lights against human vision. America watched intense emotional gazes on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed slow-motion eye damage demonstrations, sacrificing functional eyesight for whatever artistic vision producers cooked up between particularly bourbon-heavy creative brainstorming sessions that morning. 67. Early blue contact lenses came as thick, heavy glass shells covering entire eyeballs, safely wearable for only 15 minutes before scratching corneas permanently. Picture leading ladies essentially balancing miniature aquariums atop eyes, racing the clock before optical disasters struck mid-scene. The roast practically shatters itself. Hollywood essentially treated eye safety like an annoying suggestion. America watched piercing blue stares on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially were tiny windshields directly against their eyeballs, performing emotional monologues while glass slowly carved memorable souvenirs into eye tissue requiring later medical intervention. 68. Sterile cotton balls stuffed inside actresses' cheeks, puffed out faces, looking too gaunt or aged, making coherent talking nearly impossible during scenes. Picture leading ladies essentially storing squirrel rations inside mouths, mumbling romantic dialogue through impressive cotton hamster pouches. The roast practically stuffs itself. Hollywood essentially treated facial volume like furniture upholstery requiring extra padding. America watched plump, youthful cheeks on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed Shakespearean speeches sounding like chipmunks attempting opera, hoping nobody noticed their dialogue, resembled muffled negotiations conducted entirely through clenched dental cotton. 69. Mild acid solutions painted actors' gums, turning them bright, unnatural pink so teeth photographed digitally white by sharp contrast. Picture leading ladies essentially bleaching their mouth tissue chemically, walking around with gums resembling freshly painted bubblegum lipstick advertisements. The roast practically acid washes itself. Hollywood essentially treated gums like minor decorative elements requiring touch-up paint. America watched dazzling smiles on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially endured weekly mouth interior renovation projects, treating natural gum coloring like an embarrassing manufacturing defect, requiring aggressive cosmetic correction between regularly scheduled close-up production days. 70. Actors held sheets of pure white paper directly beside their teeth, immediately banned from close-ups whenever any yellow tint appeared during comparison testing. Picture leading ladies essentially auditioning their molars against office supplies, watching careers hinge on stationary verdicts. The roast practically photocopies itself. Hollywood essentially turned routine paperwork into dental tribunal courtrooms. America watched flawless grins on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially feared printer paper more than bad reviews, treating ordinary office stationery like merciless judges, sentencing imperfect teeth into immediate professional Hollywood close-up exile permanently. 71. Actors with natural overbites endured heavy, painful night braces, dragging lower jaws forward, sculpting perfectly straight profiles through skeletal renovation. Picture leading ladies essentially sleeping inside medieval mouth scaffolding, hoping morning skulls align closer to whatever profile executives sketched on napkins. The roast practically clamps itself shut. Hollywood essentially treated jawbones like crooked picture frames requiring overnight straightening. America watched chiseled profiles on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially spent every night strapped inside facial construction equipment, sacrificing comfortable sleep for whatever geometric perfection studio dentists demanded that particular season. 72. Morality clauses fired actresses on the spot whenever studio spies caught them publicly without complete makeup, immaculate hair, and pristine white gloves. Picture leading ladies essentially stalked through grocery stores by camera-wielding informants, pulse racing whenever lipstick smudged near the produce section. The roast practically frisks itself. Hollywood essentially deployed beauty police monitoring routine errands. America watched glamorous goddesses on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed daily public appearances under surveillance harsher than spy thrillers, treating quick pharmacy runs like high-stakes diplomatic missions, requiring full ceremonial cosmetic armor preparation. 73. Pregnancies allegedly ruined figures, so studios pushed female stars toward secret abortions, treating motherhood like inconvenient career sabotage. Picture leading ladies essentially negotiating their own bodies against contract clauses, executives weighing infant futures against box office projections coldly. The roast practically chills the room. Hollywood essentially treated wombs like studio property requiring strict scheduling. America watched radiant actresses on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially endured systematic reproductive control disguised as career protection, sacrificing personal motherhood dreams beneath whatever profit-driven calendar executives sketched out during particularly cruel quarterly budget planning meetings. 74. White actors playing outdoorsy roles got banned from natural tanning, instead painted with sticky walnut juice stains lasting weeks past production. Picture leading ladies essentially marinating skin in tree extract, scrubbing furiously between films hoping color faded before next month's costume drama auditions. The roast practically stains itself. Hollywood essentially treated tans like prescription medication requiring official application. America watched sun-kissed adventurers on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially survived weeks resembling overcooked toast, scrubbing walnut residue from elbows and knees during what should have been relaxing post-production downtime vacations. 75. Starlets recovering from forced secret abortions got pushed onto red carpets within 48 hours, proving publicly they weren't sick or hiding scandals. Picture leading ladies essentially smiling through physical agony beneath flashing bulbs, waving graciously while bodies silently begged for hospital beds instead. The roast practically bleeds through the carpet. Hollywood essentially weaponized publicity events against human recovery time. America watched glowing premiere photos on screen, completely unaware their idols essentially performed elaborate wellness theater, swallowing pain medication backstage, while answering breezy reporter questions about exciting upcoming romantic comedy projects. 76. Gay actors got forced into arranged marriages with starlets, complete with coordinated couple photo shoots preserving the heterosexual heartthrob illusion. Picture leading men essentially renting wives like wardrobe accessories, posing affectionately at premieres while privately living in completely separate emotional lives elsewhere. The roast practically fakes its own vows. Hollywood essentially treated authentic identities like inconvenient marketing problems. America watched dreamy on-screen couples, never realizing their idols essentially performed elaborate domestic theater productions, manufacturing entire fictional households powered by publicity departments, writing scripts more committed than actual wedding ceremonies themselves. 77. Sweating on screen was deemed low class, so stagehands stood by holding giant ice blocks, forcing actors to grip them against wrists, instantly cooling internal temperatures. Picture leading ladies essentially clutching frozen boulders between takes, fingers numb while pretending sophisticated composure during sweltering Los Angeles summer heat waves. The roast practically freezes solid. Hollywood essentially treated perspiration like criminal evidence, requiring immediate cold case treatment. America watched cool, composed stars on screen completely unaware their idols essentially performed entire films while wrestling miniature glaciers between every single dramatic scene. 78. Redhead transformations became legally binding whenever studios decided actresses photographed better with crimson locks, banning them from changing back without executive approval. Picture leading ladies essentially trapped inside permanent hair color contracts. Dye jobs treated like binding international treaties requiring board meetings to renegotiate. The roast practically tints itself permanent. Hollywood essentially treated hair follicles like corporate intellectual property. America watched fiery redheads on screen completely unaware their idols essentially lost personal grooming autonomy beneath legal documents controlling something as personally trivial as choosing what color shampoo to purchase weekly. 79. Fake wardrobe fittings dragged on for hours purely so studios could leak strategic photos to magazines proving stars remained reliably slim. Picture leading ladies essentially attending elaborate clothing pantomimes designed entirely for publicity, posing tirelessly, while seamstresses pretended to pin invisible adjustments. The roast practically stitches itself together. Hollywood essentially staged entire performances around press leaks. America watched glamorous fitting photos on screen completely unaware their idols essentially performed weight verification theater disguised as routine wardrobe prep, treating tape measure like courtroom evidence presented before merciless tabloid jury panels nationwide. 80. Studios routinely confiscated real birth certificates, legally fabricating younger identities for actresses over 21, preserving youthful marketing power through paperwork fraud. Picture leading ladies essentially losing personal birthdays inside filing cabinets, executives shaving years off lives like grocery store coupon clipping campaigns. The roast practically forges itself. Hollywood essentially treated chronological honesty like an embarrassing accounting error. America watched eternally youthful stars on screen completely unaware their idols essentially carried multiple invented birthdays simultaneously, juggling fictional ages depending on whichever paperwork interviewers happened to find first that particular afternoon. 81. Actors got rolled inside heated wool blankets soaked in salt brine for hours, supposedly leaching toxins through forced sweating that left skin radiantly clear. Picture leading ladies essentially mummified inside steaming briny burritos, basting helplessly, while studio assistants checked watches calculating optimal pickling times. The roast practically cures itself. Hollywood essentially treated humans like deli sandwich preparation experiments. America watched glowing complexions on screen completely unaware their idols essentially endured weekly preservation rituals resembling old-world food storage methods, emerging wrinkled and salty like overpriced charcuterie board centerpieces every single shoot week. And there you have it, an entire glamorous industry that genuinely believed radioactive face cream, walnut juice tans, and toilet cleaner hair dye were perfectly reasonable career investments, where contracts owned your birthday, your weight, your marriage, and occasionally your internal organs, all while publicity departments staged fake fittings and arranged fake weddings to sell a fantasy held together by lead paint and pure delusion. Old Hollywood was less a golden age and more a beautifully lit hostage situation. If your brain survived all 81 rules, smash that like button and subscribe to Dumb Old Hollywood, because we dig up this chaos so you do not have to. And drop a comment telling us which rule was the most unhinged thing you have ever heard, because honestly, we cannot pick a favorite either.